Creative Brain Candy by creators for creators.
Sorry about that. That was my kid.
What'd you just say?
I said sorry about that. My kid just came in.
You call your son Little Chief?
Yeah,
What'd you say your name was?
Frank Sullivan.
Is this some kind of joke? Gordo, is that you or you messing with me?
I ain't messing with you. Look, I'm just trying to figure out...
You're telling me your name is Frank Sullivan, you live in Queens, and you want to know how I called the first game in the 1969 World Series? Yeah, that's exactly what I want to know. Gordo, if this is you, so help me. What'd you say?
Gordo.
What'd you say your call station or your call letters were?
W2QYV.
Now you listen to me. My name is John Francis Sullivan. I live at 343 42nd Avenue, where I lived my whole life. And I saw the first game of the 1969 World Series right here in this house 30 years ago.
Bullshit.
My father's name is Francis Patrick Sullivan. He was a firefighter and a diehard Mets fan. And every night when I went to bed, he sang to me, "Take me out to the ball game."
Hey, who the hell are you?
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Smoking and Drinking in Space. This is a sci-fi podcast from a couple guys who think they know sci-fi. And this week, we discussed the movie where some shiny lights allow father and son to talk through time about the lesser New York baseball team. Oh, and also stop some murders. Starring Dennis Quaid, Jim Caviezel, it's 2000's Frequency. But first, he's the son who can't program my VCR to my dad who keeps having to save him over and over again. And he's filling in for James this week. It's Kaden. How you doing, Kaden?
I'm doing good. Just trying to get this stupid clock in the VCR to work.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it?
Were you even alive when VCRs were prominent?
Yes.
Yeah, I grew up with a VCR.
Oh, damn.
And he's the doorknob who takes financial advice from a guy over the internet and happens to get lucky only to find the bottom falls out any day now. It's Rob. How you doing, Rob?
I would have gone with Google or Apple.
Google, did Google? Yeah, Google did exist in 2000. So I don't think Google was as prominent as Yahoo was at this point, though.
I would have known by now.
You would have? Yeah,
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, because my time travel kung fu is a lot stronger than this movie.
I don't believe you. Kaden, do you know what's happening around CBC this week?
He doesn't.
I do not. I imagine that Simply
He
Stogies
really
is probably
doesn't. He really doesn't.
No, I imagine Simply Stogies is probably talking about some sort of cigar or cigar accessories. Spoiler They Die is probably talking about some murder case. Maybe it involves time travel. Not sure what Eyes Forward March would be doing.
So you have your thumb on the pulse of CBC, is what you're saying. Have you heard of our new show?
No. Let me help him out. Yeah. So we got a new show that came out called Stay Wild Trauma Child. It's from two ladies who talk about bad trauma that has happened to them and how they coped with it. And from what I understand, because I haven't watched it or haven't listened to it yet, mostly because I don't want to cry my eyes out at work. Because apparently that happens in this first one. It hits you in all the feels, but then also makes you laugh a little bit. So that's cool. Also, coming out on Friday, we have Friday, May 7th, we have a new show called Smoking and Drinking in Capes. It is a superhero podcast from three guys who wish they had powers. It stars yours truly, Jason, and we were forced to bring James along despite my protests. Something about dirty pictures that Jason has of me. I don't know.
Wait, no. The whole reason that James and I got roped into this and you're hosting is because of the blackmail that you have on us.
Oh, it's because of the dirty pictures I have of you. That's
Yes.
right. That's right. That's right. I get confused sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway, check that one out. That drops on Fridays every week. And also check out Stay Wild Trauma Child, which I believe is Mondays. I believe is when they're releasing. No, Wednesdays.
Wednesday.
No, Tuesdays. Wednesdays. Okay.
Depends on what
one of those
calendar. If
days.
you're looking at a Canadian calendar, it's just
Yeah.
a random day.
Yeah. Oh, well, they have something going for them. They are not Canadian, so that helps.
They are not Canadian. You're right.
Yep.
Rob, you got any news for us this week?
I do have news. Let me switch over to the news since I had to pull Kaden's ass out of the fire for not being ready. First news is there is talk from Giant Freaking Robot. They shared some insider information that Marvel is trying to figure out a way to get John Bernthal, who played the Punisher, to face off against Spider-Man in the MCU somehow.
Wait, when did he play Punisher? I thought that was
he played
Jane,
Punisher.
what's his face?
Jane, yeah, no,
Tom Jane.
Tom Jane played it in the movies. John played it in Netflix.
Oh, it was the Netflix.
So,
yeah, I didn't.
yeah,
I never
yeah,
watched
so he's
any of the
doing
Marvel Netflix stuff.
Right. So apparently Charlie Cox is set to return potentially during this next Spider-Man movie, No Way Home. That's been the rumor going around. They're looking to get John Bernthal in there somewhere, probably not in time for No Way Home, but maybe a future developing story of some sort.
So I'm starting to get a little worried with the amount of names that they're putting in the new Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Like it's getting really, really crowded really quick.
I think, and some of those names might just be quick cameos or something like that, because supposedly we're doing Spider-Verse type of situation
Sure.
for this one. So maybe a lot of them are just cameos. They're just throwing names out there to create buzz, and you'll see them, a la Julia Louis-Dreyfus, 10 minutes total.
Well, yeah, but
show.
with the number of names that they're giving out, 10 minutes for each name is going to be a lot of fucking screen time.
No. It's gonna be like they're gonna do the reverse social justice warrior female superhero shot that they did in Endgame.
What the fuck is it with you and
They're just gonna have
fucking
all
social
the dudes.
justice warrior shit?
I don't know. I'm channeling my inner James today.
I was about to say James has been rubbing off on him.
Yep. They're gonna all just line up, and they're gonna
do rub against each other a lot.
More than you know, James.
You
Call
guys
me.
You guys do some weird
Call
stuff
me
in your
James.
free time.
James. Oh wait, sorry. That's supposed to be.
I
for
am
a girl.
uncomfortable.
So what happens whenever one of you two gets in a restraining order against the other? How are we going to do this?
I don't know. Well, we can talk. We just can't be in the same room together, which makes me sad. Next news. There is rumblings and grumblings that Grant Gustin, who plays the Flash on the CW, wants to quit after his contract is up this season. There's a lot of grumblings out there that they are not happy. Multiple actors are not happy with the way the producers and the higher ups are treating the actors and actresses. Dominic Purcell, who plays Fire, I don't know. He plays Mick Rory. I think that's Hellfire. I don't know. I don't know what his superhero name is. He goes by Mick Rory on the show. He posted a Instagram tweet that basically said, "Hey, I'm done. See you guys later. I'm done. Because of crap." And then he took it down. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's CW DC stuff is another thing that I've never watched, so I don't know much about
It's
it.
too bad.
No,
too bad.
it's really not.
Some of it's okay. All
Yeah,
right.
but
And
saying some of it out of the mass amount that they've put out is not a ringing endorsement.
right. Okay.
What else you got?
I got the last thing I've got is anybody looking forward to a sci-fi Chris Pratt show?
Yes, I'm very much looking
Perfect.
forward to the next Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, no. This one's coming a little bit sooner. In July, Amazon is releasing a movie called The Tomorrow War. Features Chris Pratt and Yvonne Stravosky.
Oh, Miranda.
Who played Miranda, Miranda in Mass Effect. Or,
she also played the girlfriend
Sarah,
in Dexter.
Sarah in Chuck. Yeah, played Sarah in Chuck. Comes out July 2nd. Let's see. There's a trailer out there. Looks kind of interesting. Is
that based off a book? Because that sounds familiar.
I don't know. I'm looking here. It is let's see. It's directed by Chris McKay, who directed the Lego Batman movies. It is a science fiction action time traveling movie.
Oh, jeez.
It checks all three of the boxes that I need. Chris Pratt's the lead. He's a regular guy from the present who is recruited to travel to the future to help fight a war against some evil aliens.
Well, that sounds pretty generic.
Yeah, not much there, but hey, it's Chris Pratt. I'm okay with that.
I'll definitely give it a try.
Yeah.
Amazon stuff is kind of hit or miss. Some of their movies are really good. Some of their series are really good. And then some of them are just kind of meh.
Yeah, I'm hoping this one is good. It looks kind of interesting, at least.
All right, who's ready for a pod crawl?
Yes, please.
Let's do this.
We can call it, I don't know, say a pod crawl? The pod crawl! Pod crawl! Pod crawl! Pod crawl! Excellent! Insert it deep! Pod crawl! Kind of like a space suppository full of information.
It's 1969, and even the sun is getting into the free love era by throwing a psychedelic basher on Earth. Frank Sullivan is a New York firefighter and Mets fan, the poor bastard, with a young family living an idyllic life in Queens. Frank is a daredevil, though, doing things like swimming in gasoline near live power cables and talking to strangers over the 1960s version of the internet. It's during the Sunspot disco that he starts talking to his new online friend, John, after Scott Pilgrim found an old radio in the closet and age, sex, location the first person to answer him. It turns out John is his son from 30 years in the future, and they have a lot of catching up to do since Frank is going to die tomorrow. Frank, while a carefree 60s kind of daredevil, still has so many camels he wants to smoke, so he says nah, and changes his mind last minute about taking the smoky stairs and opts for the fiery slide instead. This changes the course of the future, where Frank doesn't die a fiery death, but dies a cancerous death due to all the camels he wanted to smoke. John isn't really cool with the medical bills his dad left him, so he tells his dad to cut out the smoking as he drinks whiskey straight from the bottle. John also starts to remember his mom dies instead, about a week after his dad would have died, and was a victim of a serial killer that was terrorizing the area. But John is a detective, so he's going to tell his dad how to fuck around to try and catch the killer since John knows where he will strike next. John sends Frank to a bar where the next victim will be found, and Frank introduces himself to her and her friends, and they all have a great time not getting murdered. This fucks up John's plan since he wanted to know who was going to try and murder her, so he sends his dad to another bar where the next victim is going to get murdered. Turns out, the next victim lives over the bar, and as Frank is watching her, he gets the shit beat out of him by the killer who saw him in the last bar, and has some shallowly repressed rage at not being able to murder someone the night before. He steals Frank's license, leaves Frank unconscious in a puddle of hepatitis, and heads upstairs to Murderville, and uses Frank's ID to frame him for the killing. The next day, Frank is telling John how he can't get the smell of piss out of his nose, and John tells his dad to leave him some spending cash under a floorboard, and maybe he can lift some prints off the wallet. As John is running prints, Frank's pal, and detective in 1969, Satch, wants to have a little sit down with him at the station to talk about a murdered nurse with his license laying underneath her. Frank convinces Satch that he's Nostradamus by laying out who will win Game 5 of the series that day, but Murderer McMurderface comes in to take Frank out while Satch is lunching with Frank's wife. Frank shocks McMurderface with his awful knowledge of electric circuits, and races out of the station after flooding the place with his in-depth firefighting knowledge. Murder Guy chases Frank, and they thrash around a bit in the water before Frank tries to kill McMurderface with tetanus. Murdery escapes, and Frank heads home to talk with John. In both timelines, Murder Death Kill goes to the Sullivan residence to do some murders, cracking both the Sullivans in the head and cuffing the elder while trying to shoot the younger. The elder escapes in his timeline and manages to shoot MDK's hand off with a shotgun, which distracts the future murder guy enough that Frank in the future can finish the job by shooting him in the chest this time. Everyone is saved. John's mom and dad are both alive. He has memories from 3 lifetimes all stuck in his head. His best friend is about to be in the poorhouse unless he sells those Yahoo stocks quick, and roll everyone plays baseball, and John has a son now, because reasons, credits.
All right, 2000s Frequency. So I remember when this movie came out. In fact, this was one of the first movies that I ever had on DVD, which was kind of an experience back then.
Wow.
DVD.
Wow. Why would that be your first thing?
It's one of the first movies. So you remember back then when you could get 10 movies for a nickel or a dime or whatever through like Columbia House and stuff, and then you had to buy 3 movies at full price within a year later on.
Okay, yeah.
This was one of those that they
old
offered.
Pyramid scheme.
Yeah. It's not a pyramid scheme. It was just kind of a
sure.
We're gonna overcharge you for 3 movies to make up for the ones that we gave you really cheap. Yeah. So basically, it kind of evens out. Yeah, this was one of those movies that they offered in the 10 pack. So
okay, I'm sorry.
It's an okay movie. I mean, it's not awful.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
believe they're time travel.
You don't?
I don't believe it.
Oh, well,
nope.
You're the expert, so why don't you tell us why you don't believe they're time travel?
I don't believe their time traveling thing. I mean, it was very inconsistent.
How so?
So, well, okay, so he burns the table and it just appears. He's scratching into the table and it slowly shows up. It would just be there, I would think.
You're right. It would.
Yeah, and maybe he didn't have a memory of it. That's fine. I can understand the human element to an extent. I'll let that piece slide. But, affecting objects around you, they should just show up.
Maybe it's like a computer monitor. Where it has a certain refresh rate, so
shut up.
It has a refresh rate.
It's running at 60 megahertz, or 60 hertz, or whatever. Yeah, time travel refresh rate is messed up. But then you got the whole loses his arm or loses his hand, and so it like shrivels away. First off, it wouldn't just shrivel away because he got that shit blown off, so it would just it would just be gone.
Right.
And then the whole, they know who the killer is, right? So Andre Bauer, Satch knows who the killer is, and yet the guy was able to run around free for years. Like he wasn't a suspect until after the fact. That's not how time travel works.
Yeah. So clarify when you say they knew who the killer was.
Well, okay, so he the Satch knows who the killer is. It's that cop guy, right? Because they went after him and all that. It was those 2 timelines were running at the same time, where they were synchronized at the same time. That didn't make sense to me. Yeah,
the only thing that I can do, or that I can kind of explain. So yeah, there's some causality. I mean, there are definitely some causality problems in this movie. One of those being the dual timelines, where something that happens in one timeline is automatically affecting in real time the second timeline, and that's not really how that would work. Some of that I could attribute to artistic license. It looks better on the screen if you see it happening in the future at the same time it's happening in the past.
Yeah, okay.
So when he's carving "I'm still here, Chief" into the desk, yeah, that's a neat effect that he sees in the future. It wouldn't happen like that. So he would have carved that in the desk. That would have gone through time as, I'm still here, Chief. And then at the moment, I guess, when
there was a fancy
John is
time
talking
bubble.
to him. Yeah, when John is talking to him, he would have gotten those memories instantly and then understood the context that he saw on that desk the entire time.
Right.
Kind of, I mean, they kind of did the wallet thing correctly, where he put in,
Yeah,
he hid
I'm
the
okay
wallet,
with the wallet
and
thing.
then
I mean, it was
Right.
It was Schrodinger's wallet, except he didn't take
no,
anything out of it.
No. The wallet was not in a state of superposition until it was measured. That's not
You
how
don't
that
know
works.
that. It was out of sight, out of mind. You don't know. Was it there or was it not there?
It was there. He put it there.
You know, and he didn't take anything out of the wallet, right?
No, he
So-
didn't.
No, he didn't. So the
So
money was still in
technically,
there. Yeah.
that guy lost everything that was in his wallet. Money, identification, or whatever was in his wallet. He
Well, he
didn't
already
have it
lost his
for 30
identification.
years.
'Cause
Yeah,
that was
the
in-
identification was already lost.
evidence.
He lost his driver's license, but he probably had some sort of like fire. Apparently,
fair,
they had
yeah.
fire licenses. Yeah,
Right.
then because they had cop licenses.
Yeah.
So.
Now, so they did the wallet thing correct. I liked that. I wasn't real fond of the desk burning effects, but I kind of chalked that up to artistic license. I did have a problem with the guy's hand getting blown off and it shriveling up in real time. I mean, that would have been a major timeline cause as well, because when he got his hand blown off in the past, that would have altered his life drastically.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I mean, there are probably things that he did with having two hands that he might not have done, only having one. That may have affected his career because apparently
And it was his right hand. So
he seemed to be left-handed because he had the gun in his left hand. So that may have been his offhand.
Yeah, so it wouldn't have affected. Yeah,
Right.
he just couldn't do the stranger properly.
Right. Yeah. And so, I mean, that may have frustrated him even more, but that could have had career altering changes in his life. I mean, that may have set into motion a whole different set of events. And that's one of the quabbles that I have with this movie is they made some major changes in the past timeline, but the future timeline seemed to stay pretty much intact with just a few alterations. Like his mom got killed instead of his dad early on because she was actually there to save Murderface's life instead of having to leave early because his dad died.
Right.
Things like that kind of.
Yeah. So now I think this is what I saw, what I heard. So Nightingale murderer, the Nightingale killer, he killed his first victim was his mom, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why?
She was a
They
nurse.
didn't explain that, did they?
Yeah, they didn't really explain that. They didn't give him a lot of backstory, just that he was the killer and he was a serial killer. He killed nurses. His mom was a nurse. She was his first victim. They never said why.
Okay. I didn't know if I just missed it or
No, they never explained it.
the old age makeup did not look good.
You didn't think it did? I thought it did.
No.
I thought it held
looked
up
okay
really well.
on Quaid. It looked okay. It looked okay on Quaid. I didn't like it on Elizabeth Mitchell.
You didn't? I thought they did a really good job at not over-aging her.
Okay, yes, but it looked like they just added wrinkles to her face.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you get old.
Yeah, but okay, so maybe I'm just thinking of Elizabeth Mitchell then and Elizabeth Mitchell now, which it's almost been 20 years since this movie, and she still looks tight.
Right. Well,
So
but she was also older in this movie than she really was in real life. She was only 31 when she did this movie. She was supposed to be around 40 when she did. Her character was supposed to be close to 40. According to if she was matching with Dennis Quaid's character.
Oh, in the 60s, she was supposed to be close to 40?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in 69.
Wow, they had a kid late.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not everybody had kids, really early, way back in the day.
But that's all the woman's job is.
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry, that was
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, that was James coming out again. Sorry, I apologize.
No, it's not. We've got a
it
history
was.
of you saying shit like that.
It was so him. He's been trying to get canceled for weeks, so.
Oh my goodness.
All right, Kaden. So what do you think about the movie?
So when I first just did a quick Google search on what this movie is, So it was made in 2000, which I personally consider kind of a bad time for movies. So
Why?
that was
Why?
time
I mean,
travel.
I'm trying to
Why?
think.
Because there's, I'm drawing a blank on some of the ones that I remember seeing, but
well, considering you were like 1 year old when this movie came
Oh,
out.
yeah, but I've
Oh.
watched movies
It was-
since then.
It wasn't Care Bears and Barney and Sesame Street, so they were terrible.
but no, like,
That's what
I
he's
mean,
basing it off of.
well, no, so like,
Let's
So
look
Pitch
and see what
Black?
movies came out in,
Pitch
in
Black,
2000.
Titan AE, Memento, Romeo Must Die, Unbreakable.
Next Friday.
Next Friday.
Boondock Saints came out in 2000. Let's see.
You're just
Scream 3. That was okay.
102 Dalmatians came out. I mean, you
God.
should have liked that.
I don't think I ever watched.
That's
that.
your fault.
Is it the live action version?
Oh, no, you know what it was? He watched Battlefield Earth.
Battlefield Earth. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That came out in 2000.
It did. It's on the list also.
High Fidelity came out in 2000.
Boiler Room. That came
Boiler
out.
Room was a good movie. Rules of Engagement was decent.
Castaway was
28
pretty-
Days.
pretty
That came
fancy.
out.
Oh, that's a good one. Coyote Ugly.
Coyote Ugly was good. U571
Crouching
wasn't
Tiger.
bad.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Oh, wow. The first Expendables came out.
Yeah.
Huh.
Are you on
mind, man.
the
Oh,
thinking-
no. This was a made for television movie. Never mind. It's not the
Are
same
you-
one.
Dude, Where's My Car came out?
Okay. So you're making his you're making his argument, I see.
Dude,
Gladiator
your car's
came
gone.
out that year.
Where's my car, dude?
Mission
Dude,
Impossible
your car's
2.
Your car's gone.
Yeah, Mission Impossible 2.
Space
That's good.
Cowboys.
House on Hallow Man,
Charlie's Angels.
Highlander Endgame.
Uh,
Charlie's Angels.
all right, so it wasn't a
Okay.
great year for movie.
No. And like,
Oh, the first
Spider-Man,
X-Men
didn't it?
came out.
Didn't Spider-Man
oh
come
yeah,
out?
that was 2000. But I mean, and sometimes the effects were, at least to me, kind of weird.
Yeah,
with
so
movies from this time,
I was
which
not
may be what I'm basing it off.
I was not impressed with the effects of him fixing the radio. That was those
Where it,
effects
like,
were not
shift-
good.
You beat.
Shifted over and
I was gonna say
became
you beat the transition slider from scene 1 or from image 1 to image 2.
Yeah,
didn't do
pretty
it for
much.
you.
No, that didn't really do it for me. We're gonna take a regular radio and we're gonna kind of skew some certain aspects of it. Take a still of that radio and skew a few pieces of that picture, and then reverse it in the movie. And yeah, no, that didn't work for me. That was not good.
Yeah.
His hand dissolving wasn't great.
Yeah.
the sun flare sucked
Sunflower.
at the beginning. The sun flare.
Oh,
sucked.
the sun flare.
Yeah. So the sun flare at the very beginning, that was bad.
Yeah.
But I think that was an effect.
No, it was real life. They got a camera, they went up next to the sun and took a picture of the sun flare.
You know, we have pictures of sun flares, right? They could have taken stock footage and zoomed in on it.
No.
Okay.
They got in a spaceship and went over there and
You're
took a
right.
picture
They
of it.
probably did it your way.
They did it. You know it. 2000? Shoot. Yeah, we had the technology back then.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, so I saw that was from this time. So I'm like, FX could be older, but it's whatever. I saw it was time travel, and I personally hate time travel in sci-fi because
You can leave now.
well, because it's rarely ever done right, in my opinion. Like it gets too convoluted. They take an easy way out. They don't, explain it enough for the viewer to keep up. So you're just kind of left there going, what's going on? Why is this happening? But then I
Because
watched
plot.
it. Right. But no, I watched it and I really liked it. I liked that it was kind of a feel good time travel movie. I did notice the quabbles y'all had with it. And I kind of raised my eyebrow too at that. I like the fact that the Allstate guy was in there.
He's not the Allstate guy. He is Captain Holt. Okay. which I find is quite nice. He is a detective in this movie, and then later on he becomes captain of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It all matches together.
Well, he was also in another cop show
but
based in Baltimore, right? Which one was that?
No, we don't talk about that one. What we're seeing is that Frequency is canon in the Brooklyn Nine-Nine series.
Oh my god. Also, in between there, he decided to become a psychiatrist.
Look, just jump with me,
Perhaps. Okay? But no, I thought most of the effects were decent. The time travel effects were a little weird.
Well, there weren't many effects in this show. I mean, there were the fire effects, but those were practical effects. They just lit a bunch of shit on fire.
Yeah.
And then the explosion, I mean, so gas doesn't act like that. The first fucking spark, if there were actually a room full of fucking gasoline, would have lit that place on fire.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
because it's the fumes that light, not the actual liquid.
Yeah. And I like the whole live wire, it's about to hit. Reach over there and just grab it and keep it from falling.
I don't know that I would suggest doing that, but
no, it's fine. You're not, as long as you're not touching the exposed part, you'll be all right.
Well, okay. You first.
He's the main character. He'll be fine.
But no, also throwing an electrical cable on some water to shock somebody who's like insulated through leather boots is not going to work either.
Yeah, I saw that, and that's not how that works.
Yeah,
I thought he was gonna put a door or set up a door trap where whoever touched the doorknob first
got electrocuted.
Got a bit of a shock. Yeah.
I
was waiting for Statch to come back and go, okay, I believe.
Well, you're no longer on trial for murder of women. You killed a cop.
Right.
Oh, they just stacked that on.
And your best friend, so congrats.
Yeah,
right.
Good job. So I looked up Northern Lights, and apparently it is possible to get Northern Lights in New York.
Oh, yeah.
It's very hard.
There have been Northern Lights as far as south as like Texas. I've seen them whenever I lived in Northwest Texas. It's a very, very rare, and it's got to be under special conditions. It's typically in the winter when it's really fucking cold and clear, and there's a huge sunspot activity. But yeah, it can happen.
Yeah, it's just I don't see it happening for multiple days like it did in this one. But
probably not.
I'm going to chalk that up to time travel magic.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of time,
the magic box,
time magic in this. I mean, and does this really even count as time travel? I mean, it's definitely a time phenomenon.
Yeah, it's.
I guess you could say it's time travel with the communication. So the communications are traveling through time,
and any objects that travel, like for instance the wallet, traveling through time. Technically,
it didn't travel through time. It just got forgotten.
Yeah.
It's like misplacing your keys and then finding them 30 years later going, oh, there they are.
They traveled through time.
Oh.
We're all traveling through time.
I was about to say, technically, I mean, you just sitting there doing absolutely nothing is time traveling.
See, Rob, you're a time traveler. You didn't even know it.
Well, no, I knew it because according to the Canadians from STD, we're from the future because we're an hour ahead of them. So I'm traveling through time. I'm more advanced and sophisticated than they are technology wise.
You can't spell advanced and sophisticated.
I can for one of those words.
Really? Which one?
Yeah. Inst.
Yeah, you nailed it. My God, perfect.
Got it.
Yep,
perfect.
Nailed it.
Sweet. Advanced. Can you use it in a sentence, please?
Oh my goodness.
Spelling bees.
When's
James coming back? Not soon enough.
Soon enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see. He's the intermediary between you two.
Well, I think what we're just going to do is replace Rob with James and then keep you on. So
I'm fine with that. I got my own show to deal with. So,
Look at you moving on in the world.
Yeah, I am. I'm moving on up. So was the mic on that radio? Was it just a speakerphone eventually? Because they never clicked the mic like they did at the beginning.
So
Well,
they actually
Jim didn't ever.
Yeah, and they showed that. So this was some sort of phenomenon with the Aurora Borealis that's more of this magic that happened that allowed the communications to travel through time. At one point, Frank is sitting there tapping the squawk bar,
and nothing happens,
and nothing's happening because John is talking over him, and he's trying to hit the squawk bar so he can talk, but it's not stopping the communications because those radios were one way only. You could either transmit or receive at one time. So, but yeah, and so after that, they didn't show any tapping of the squawk bar. But from what I understand, those radios also had a Vox setting, so they wouldn't have had to have used that anyway.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
all right.
Can you guys imagine if you were to talk to, let's say, yourself, 30, 40, 80 years ago, if you're Jason?
Shut up.
Wow.
Using a Aurora Borealis powered ham radio, how would you describe modern technology to them?
Magic.
That's because you don't understand it today, and it's just magic to you.
Look,
so
magic for one civilization is just science that they haven't figured out yet.
That's not true.
It is true. I heard it in a movie.
I was about to say, I feel like you've heard that in a movie somewhere. And
it was just
Thor. Sunk into your brain.
Magic is just science that you haven't figured out yet. Thank you, Thor. But yeah, I described it as magic. Well, it depends. What technology are we talking about?
Yeah, what are we trying to describe?
Cell phones, like touchscreen cell phones. Similar how John was explaining that cell phones existed, in the 90s to his dad.
I'd tell him, hey, that pack of cigarettes that you're smoking? Yeah, that turns into a phone eventually, as far as that size. To give him an idea of the size.
You were so bad at describing shit. That pack of cigarettes is going to be a phone. All right. Well, it was nice talking to you, weird guy. I'm going to get off of here.
Go smoke my phone.
Well, how would you describe what a cell phone?
I mean, it depends on what past self I'm talking to.
That's true. I mean, yeah, are we talking 2000s? Because I had a cell phone in 2000.
So if you were to talk to yourself 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
1990.
So, let's see. 30 years ago, I'm going to be, in my middle teens.
1990. I was 8 years old.
I mean, we knew about cell phones then. They were big as a fucking brick.
Oh, that's right. They were cars. They were cell phones were attached to cars.
No, not all of them.
Was it the other way around? Cars were attached to cell phones?
They had those large handheld telephones that were bigger than your head.
Right,
weren't attached to a car.
Yeah, you had to carry it in a satchel beside you?
No. It was separate from a bag phone. It was like, I think Motorola had a big white one that had a huge antenna. It looked kind of like a wireless phone where you had the antenna on top, but it was just a big brick.
I was about to say, is it like the Nokia brick?
Oh, I got one. Super big KR999 luxury retro telephone handset.
Yeah, something like that. So
I see them.
I mean, we knew of cell phones back
Motorola.
then. If I were describing a cell phone in today's time to my 15-year-old self, I would say, think about a Game Boy that's all color computer screen, but you can talk on it as well as a phone.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Game Boy's about that size. Cell phone for me, I don't know. I was 8 years old. That would be hard to do.
You'd be, your young self would be too distracted eating crayons.
I didn't eat the crayons.
He does that now.
My palette hadn't
Hadn't
not
matured to
sophisticated.
crayons yet.
Yeah.
Were you still
Not
eating dirt at that point?
Play-Doh. I was on Play-Doh.
Lead paint chips. They're sweet.
They're sweet, man. They taste like metal. Yeah. I don't know. Cell phones would be hard. I don't know how I'd do that one.
Fair.
Just because I, for an 8-year-old, that'd be tough. And especially me knowing, look, I didn't get a computer until the late 90s. So.
But I think we're burying the lead here. I mean, why didn't he give his dad like lottery numbers and
Did they have lottery back then in the 60s?
Well,
he gave him. Well, okay, yeah. Like
he doesn't have to give it to him in the 60s. He could have said, "Hey, this year, why don't you write these numbers down and these dates that correspond to these numbers and tuck them into your back pocket, and then maybe a week or so before this date, you might want to buy a lottery ticket that'll exist at about this time."
What he should have done was he should have kept talking about baseball with his dad and convinced his dad to put some money on a couple of games so he could,
especially
on the games where the projected odds were really low for the team that won.
You could do that. You got to kind of watch doing that because, gambling's illegal still in most states around this time. So he may have had to have gone to Vegas to do it legally.
That's still. And plus, that would also risk time fighting back.
Oh, right. Yeah. So
time fighting back.
Yeah, time fighting back. Come on. It comes to the question that Kaden's going to have to answer later on.
Is whether or not this is more sci-fi.
He's our James stand-in, yeah.
Wow.
Also, so back to what you were saying about most of the fire effects being practical. In the opening scene in the sewer tunnel where the fire erupted out of the manhole, were those practical? Because those look kind of CGI thrown on there.
Yeah, I don't know about
composite.
Yeah, I'm not sure about in the in the tunnel itself. I don't know. I'd have to go back and kind of look and see.
Oh, yeah, in the tunnel. I was thinking. I thought you were talking about like when it was shooting out of the manhole.
When it was shooting out of the manhole.
If I had to guess,
that I think was composite.
Okay,
it might have been. If I had to guess, if it was practical, they did some shifting of time in the film itself because it seemed like the fireball kind of hesitated to give him a head start to get up the ladder.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, I'm exploding now, but okay, you better hurry and get up that ladder because here I come.
Yeah, he had enough time to look at it and introduce
and
himself.
It just kind of paused there. It was like, I'm going to get you.
Yeah, like you do to little kids.
Right.
I'm gonna get you.
Right.
I'm gonna race you to quit. You're too fast for me. You're so quick.
Even if it was practical effects, they did some editing there to kind of delay the fireball because those move pretty fast.
Yeah.
So do you believe that he could quit cold turkey?
I did.
On cigarettes?
I could see it, yeah.
People do it, yeah.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of willpower.
It sucks.
Okay.
Do you think that his dad dying would have caused more of an effect on like all the events happening around town and whatnot than just his mother died and a few more women, were killed because of the murderer being saved?
You mean his dad not dying?
Or sorry, his dad not dying, yes.
So yeah, that's one of the quabbles that I have with this is that one event that they reversed should have had a pretty big ripple effect, right? But there's also a theory out there that says that the ripple effects of time, if you're able to go back in time and change certain events, aren't as large as what some other theories suggest, that time is more like a river and it's gonna it's self-correcting. It's gonna flow in a direction regardless of events that you change in the past. So
yeah, I believe when they said, okay, you didn't die, so now the serial killer is still out there because of these events. I believe that, and there being more murders and things like that. But I don't think one person can affect it, especially him, can affect it on a larger scale than what they showed. I mean, because the one that they showed, yeah, that's a pretty large scale because it was one bad dude. But if it wasn't him saving somebody in a fire, it was going to be somebody else saving that person in a fire.
Well, maybe. I mean, he did have a lot of experience, so
yeah. But you would
that
think
experience isn't lost. There may be some more lives that were saved. Some of those lives that were saved that wouldn't have been saved previously may have gone on to do bigger and better things.
Maybe.
I mean, it's a ripple effect that it's really hard to predict because it can grow exponentially.
It's chaos. Life finds a way.
Kinda, yeah.
Also, with the interrogation scene between John and who they thought may have been the culprit first, this is why cops are usually pulled from cases that they're personally attached to.
Right. Yeah, there would have been there would have been a conflict of interest, and he did say, that he was going to get pulled from the case, and once he's pulled from the case, he's not able to protect him anymore like he was. But
no, he's talking about John. He's talking about when John was
and his mom
going after the first.
When he was taking
killer.
the pistol off, making sure everything was free because he was ready to beat the shit out of that guy.
Yeah, but I mean, at that point, the case was cold, so I can see him investigating a cold case that involved his mom, and he just happened to
when they get new evidence, though. I couldn't see
so
that.
Satch was there. Satch was the supervisor. He was keeping watch on him.
Fair. And I was about to say, I think it usually depends on the supervisor. If they feel comfortable letting him do it, and since Satch is a family friend, he's probably like, yeah, let's let him do it.
Yeah, I don't think Satch would have let him do anything that would have jeopardized the case or his career, because he stepped in pretty quick whenever he pulled out the fucking gun and started unloading it. And
I was about to say, and his face looked like this wasn't the first time John pulled this.
Right,
like,
John seemed like a pretty grizzled, fucking disgruntled cop, and who's had a drinking problem for a while.
You think that's why the wife left?
Probably.
Was she a wife? Was she the wife?
No, girlfriend.
Girlfriend.
Was it a girlfriend?
Okay. Yeah, I think that's part of the reason. Yeah, they never really explored that. They didn't really say, why she was leaving. Just that he wouldn't change.
Well, because I wish they did, because I want to say they showed her in the bleachers at the end of the film.
Yeah. No, she was in the bleachers with a baby.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, I missed that. Double take when I saw it.
So she has a kid now, or he has a kid with her, and then she was pregnant again.
Oh yeah, I totally missed that.
Yeah,
I just saw him with a fucking kid all of a sudden. I was like, where in the hell did the kid come from?
It was the girlfriend, because they showed her somewhere in a picture or something like that. During one of those.
By this point I was done with the film. I was like, okay, let's get this done and over with.
Come on, done. Where's the ending credits?
Right.
I need my end line for the pod crawl. Hurry up. Yeah.
All right, Kaden, I got a question for you since you're playing as James this week.
Yes, sir.
So Frequency, this 2000 film about time travel through the Northern Lights. Is it more sci-fi than 11/22/63?
Well, I mean, we got time travel via an aurora borealis, completely localized over New York. There's potential paradoxes. There's wallets being stowed away for 30 years. There's hands being shriveled up and dying after they're blown away with a shotgun. So I'd say probably not, because that's about the most of quote-unquote time travel that there was. And I think... Oh, God, I'm blanking.
11/22/63.
Yeah, 11/22/63 was more sci-fi than this movie.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
It had more time
but
travel.
All 11/22s. No, it had a closet.
So the proper response, I think, that James would have gotten was grumble, grumble, closet, grumble, grumble, diner. Not more sci-fi.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. Wow. You need to work on your James impression.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I need to start smoking cigars.
No. Hoarding
Hoarding
cigars. Yeah.
I need to start hoarding cigars
and sticking phallic things in your mouth. I mean, you already do that, but the cigar part you need to start working on. The
I need to have
part.
Rob's mom come over.
Sure, why not? She gets around. Just pass her around.
All right, Rob, you got a haiku for us this week?
Yeah, so give me about 10 minutes. I need to rewrite this real quick. Now, this one is titled Flexible Time. Can you hear me, Chief? Time travel will work for us. 10-4, good buddy.
Nice.
Really? Because I thought that one sucked, kind of like this movie. The time travel in this movie sucked. It was whatever.
Yeah,
Very
it wasn't
thin.
great. Wasn't great.
It was thin. Very thin.
All right, who's got awards?
You know it. You know it. Me, pick me.
All right, Rob, who's got your black lung?
I gave it to Frank because of the cancer sticks.
All right.
I mean,
Kaden?
always.
I also gave it to Frank, especially because he was smoking in the fire department, which I found kind of funny.
Right.
Oh, back then they smoked everywhere.
Yeah.
Well,
Everywhere
right.
in 1969, you could smoke in hospitals.
Yeah,
Fair.
In front of babies.
In fact, you'd probably give a smoke to a baby at that point. So,
Mazel tov, you're a boy.
Yeah, it's good for the lungs.
all right. Yeah. Frank's going to get mine as well. First of all, just for, chain smoking through the first half of the movie until he decided to go ahead and quit. And second, for smoking Camels. Those are the most god-awful fucking cigarettes ever. All right, Kaden, who has your head lush?
So I gave it to John Sullivan, not only for drinking with the Allstate guy, who I think kept him in good hands, but it was for that. And for
Why do you think he's the Allstate guy?
I swear he's the...
He is not the Allstate guy. That is somebody completely different. He is not.
He is not the Allstate guy. Yeah.
Oh, he's not.
No, he's not.
Why did I think he was?
I don't know.
Wait, because he's black? Is that why? Is that why?
No.
We have it here. He thinks that all black people look the same.
No.
That's what he's saying.
No.
I think that's true.
I think it may have been the voice.
Fine.
I don't know. Something about the voice. I don't know.
Fine.
All right, Rob.
Oh, I gave it to John for drinking some liquor at the beginning and then having a brewski chaser right after that.
Yeah, John's going to get mine as well, so it's another 3 for 3. I mean, he was definitely the fucking lush of the movie.
He needs to take his own advice and quit drinking.
He was drinking whiskey like people drink Cokes out of a bottle. He had a fucking fifth of whiskey and he was just sucking it down like it was a diet soda.
No
Pops
kidding.
the top of the bottle and just takes a swig.
Yeah. All right, Rob, who's got your player?
Okay, so I'm not saying that I want to get canceled, but
God.
if I did,
God.
I would say that my player award goes to Jack for raping and killing ladies.
Jesus Christ.
But I don't want to get canceled, so
you're not going to say that, but you're going to say that.
I'm not going to say that. My player award would instead go to John for knocking up his girlfriend. Yeah.
You're an awful, awful person. Kaden?
No, I'm not, because I wouldn't have said that unless I wanted to get canceled.
So I was originally going to say to the Mets for playing a great game of baseball. But instead, I'm going to go with the 3 girls who bought Papa Sullivan a drink at the bar.
Oh, yeah.
That one nurse who was giving him the fuck me eyes.
She was giving him the fuck me eyes until he scratched his face and she saw the wedding ring. And then she was like, well, fuck.
No, she was like, okay, whatever. No, she said, that's a shame, or you can change it or something, didn't she? She said something that was kind of like, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
God. All right, Rob.
Well, who's your player?
Yeah, who's my player? So this one's a hard one. I think I'm gonna go with John's girlfriend wife. So even through changed timelines, John was pining after her, and
Going
in
for the same one. Yeah.
in the end they ended up together anyway. So it was almost like fate.
Oh yeah, because he
Love
went after
finds
her
a way.
when she didn't remember him.
Yeah,
That's right.
Well, he went after her to say, "I need to talk to you," and she didn't know who he was. Yeah.
All right,
Apparently,
Rob.
she was like a next door neighbor or something like that. Or no, friends with Goober. Gonzo? Gordo.
Yeah,
Friends
Gordo.
with Gordo. There it is.
All right, Kaden, who's got your purple hippo?
So mine's going to go to John for watching his entire life be rewritten in the flash of a few seconds.
That's a good one. Rob?
I gave it to Jack for watching his hand disappear.
Yeah, that's got to be fucking trippy too.
He's going like, "What the fuck?"
So mine's
going
gonna go
to
to
murder someone.
Mine's going to go to Papa Frank for getting told that you're going to die the next day, and then also getting told how to keep from dying the next day, and then taking that advice and living on and totally changing and screwing up the timeline.
Fair. That's a good one. That tripped you up.
You know that whole day, because he was told certain events that were going to happen that day, and as they were getting more and more true, he was freaking out of his mind.
Oh yeah, that would be a head trip in and of itself. I mean, just
well, that's why on the scene with the fire truck when they heard that the Mets won and that dude sitting down was like, "Yeah, hey, they won," and he looked up and he saw Frank's face and he just went silent. He realized it wasn't a good.
Well,
time.
he was the rookie.
probie.
So
Yeah.
he was the probie. Yeah, he was a probie.
All right, well, it's time to pick the next movie, and I see that Rob has put a couple of more titles on there.
Yes, I did.
Both involving time travel.
Damn straight. We got Timeline and Time's Up.
No, Timeline and In Time.
Oh, In Time. Yeah. Yep.
All right, well, since Kaden is guesting this week, I'm going to allow him to pick the number, which means that...
No. He needs to pick the number and tell us when to stop, so that when this is shit, it is completely and entirely his fault.
And
exactly. I'm okay with that.
Okay,
Please
Kaden,
be
what number
something
you want?
that James doesn't like.
You've got to pick
69.
a number between... Oh, God damn it.
Well, the movie took place in 1969.
Between 1 and 221. So, is that still your number?
Yep.
Oh, God damn it. I hate you. All right, tell me when to stop.
And stop.
The suspense.
I was about to say, it's killing me.
Yeah, we do this every time. It's just utter silence from him.
As he quickly tries to search for the movie.
All right, well, this is one that I haven't seen, so I don't know if it's any good or not. But next week, we will be discussing the movie where an alien on the run from his own people makes friends with a girl. He tries to help her on her quest, but can be an interference. This stars Jim Parsons, Rihanna, and Steve Martin. It is 2015's Home.
It sounds like a dumb movie. I'm not going to be here.
It's animated.
Yeah, it's an animated movie.
Animated
from
movie.
DreamWorks.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, it's a DreamWorks movie, so maybe it'll be all right.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's something James can watch with this kid. Oh man.
Yeah, I don't.
Who
have
put that
high
on the
hopes
list?
for- this I think is one that was originally on the list. It's got my name.
Oh, I
next
remember
to it,
seeing
so-
trailers for this.
Yeah. Purple alien dude.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this goes. Like I said, I don't have high hopes. It's got a 66 rating on like IMDb, so we'll see.
Well,
Maybe it'll be good. Here's hoping.
it's not
All
like
right.
you care.
Well, thanks, Kaden, for joining us. We appreciate you standing in for James this week. Is there anything you'd like to promote or say before we head out?
I do want to say thank you guys for having me. And I would also like to say to all the viewers, or listeners, I should say, to be sure to join the Creep Brain Candy Discord. where you can not only keep up on all the announcements for all our podcasts and shows, but also interact with the lovely gentlemen and women in our Discord, including these two idiots who do this show, and me.
Well, thanks, Kaden. We appreciate you being on. That's all we've got for this week. Our intro and outro music is Welcome Home by Cambo. Podcrawl music is Snack Picks My Machette. If you like the show, please rate and review us on iTunes. You can leave us feedback on our Discord channel at smokinganddrinkinginspace.com/Discord. On Twitter at @status_podcast, or you can email us at smokinganddrinkinginspace@outlook.com. If you'd like to throw a few nickels our way, you can become a Patreon supporter by going to smokinganddrinkinginspace.com/Patreon. And make sure to visit Creative Brain Candy for more great shows and creative works at creativebraincandy.com. For this week, I'm Jason.
I'm glad he's not here. I really am.
An Aurora Borealis, localized entirely in your kitchen.
We'll talk to you next week. But first, he's the son that can't program my VCR to my dad who keeps having to save him over and over again. And he's filling in for James this week. It's Jason.
It's Jason.
It's Mini-Me.